G'day YouTube, welcome back to my channel. It's how we go today. It's a bit blustering and breezy today and I'm trying to get the right lighting as well. A bit of a struggle today with the lighting, but we'll see how we go with this. Another Shimpaku Juniper. Surprise, surprise. This one has quite a long, tall, straight trunk, which isn't the best. We don't want to see that. As you know with my other videos, what I try and do is how do we create the smallest possible tree. That's our aim always, is trying to create the smallest possible tree. Now, looking at this, you already know that this big, huge, you can really bend this if you really wanted to, but it's always going to have a trunk that's quite straight there and not as interesting. It's got a bit of a curve and you could bend this quite rapidly down, but I don't know, I don't think it's going to be the best tree. I think we could lay out a couple of these bits off. There's a bit hard to probably see, but there's 1, 2, 3. Maybe have a triple. If I lay it right there, I'll have a triple trunk. And what I'll do is I'll actually trim one of these back and leave the middle one maybe to grow taller. Trim this back small and trim this back a little bit so that this should grow taller and stronger. So that should. You want to have 3 different size trunks. You can't have the same 3 trunks. If you're doing a clump style, that's what I think. It's nice to have different variations. Either I'll do that now or just let the air layer happen and then I'll do that in the future. I think one air layer there, and there's a bit of a gap here, putting another air layer there, just to air layer that bit off. There's a nice tree there maybe. So 1, 2, already 2 air layers off. And then we get to the most interesting part of the tree. I've got this branch over here that's actually quite flexible and interesting, and it's the lowest branch, so we could use that as a, we could actually build a tree around that if we can bend and twist it. And I'd have to do the twisting now. If I let it go any thicker or bigger, it's going to be very too hard to bend. So we want to probably use that. The only thing is it's very bare here, so we really have to contort it, twist it somehow, maybe around the trunk or something like that. I haven't really worked it out what I want to do yet. The good thing is it's got these 2 nice sub branches further up, and they will make the nice pads. We could either go, I could think of ways to design the tree then with those two branches in there. So I'm really leaning towards. So you can see one hand there, one hand there. There's 2 nice branches in there that we can work the whole tree and design a whole tree just around that branch. That's my thinking right now, but let's work our way through the tree. It's got a nice small branch over here. You could go aggressive and just use that as your new tree, possible. If this doesn't work, you could have this. What's back here? Let's have a look. There is a nice sub branch in there. Potential air layer maybe, because it's not the tallest, not the perfect spot. Potential that will be removed, but I'll probably do an air layer as well. There is another similar size one over here. That's interesting. We could use that, but if I use any of this higher part, it's just getting the same taper all the way through. There's no nice tapering, and that's the problem. Even if I air layer that off and I just keep the rest of the tree, there's no taper. So I want taper. I want the tree to go, fat to small in the smallest possible dimension. There's the camera almost flipped over. What a good catch. It's just very windy today, so let me just check the camera again and I'll come back. Alright, let's see how that goes now. That was a good catch. Alright, so where were we? Working our way up. So in there, I'll lay that off. I don't think that's going to be any good either. We talked about tapering. It's the same almost thickness from the base all the way up to about here, and then then it's not very good taper anyway. So the best way to do it is if I'm going to use this trunk and this branch, that'll ultimately be good taper. So that's why I'm thinking that. Going on that one as well, but this will have to fatten up quite a bit in time. So we've got to work that out. The good thing is at the back here, the interesting part is there's 2 quite heavy branches. Now, there's a really nice one branch over here as well. It's hard to show you, but I'll try and not really. But this is quite a nice branch. This is not a very nice branch. The reason for it is, I can't really show you, but it's very straight here and it's very short and stubby. there's a straight and then stubby and then this foliage. So it doesn't have that much interest, but that will definitely look at air layering that off. This is an interesting branch because we could have designed a tree on this as well. So I'm just trying to think what would be. Okay, so I'll try and lift the tree up so you can see where it comes out of. Ooh. I'm not sure you can see, but you can see it's back in here. Now you could, I'm just thinking again, taper, it's too long here, and then there's a nice really cool branch up here. Just can't use it. It's a really nice branch because it's got lots of nice movement and twists and turns already in it naturally, so it's really cool. So this is purely going to be pretty much LA the top half of the tree off and just use this branch, I reckon. That's what I think at the moment. There's nothing interesting at all in the rest of the tree, but then you look at it, you can possibly get, oh, there's a nice branch in here too, so there you go. You can find, I'll do an air lay, definitely an air lay there, probably an air lay in here to take all this branching off. Then maybe one more in here because it's got a nice branch in there. Then those side branches I'll take off as well, air layer. So lots of nice air layer opportunities, and that's pretty much what I'll do with this tree. Nothing new, you guys have seen this before. But what I want to try and do is also bend this guy today. So let me see if I can get some heavy wire on this and see how flexible that is. Because I want to do the wiring now and see what designs we can come up with. So that's the plan today. So what I'll do is I'll clean up this branch and get all the little shrubs and little bits of foliage that are not going to be used out of the way. That's what I always do. And then I'll wire this guy up and I'll see if I can bend him and create a tree just using that. And that's what ultimately I'll do. Now if that fails, we always have this. We always have a little bit branches up further up if I want to take my time and air lay some things off, or not air lay things off. So yeah, that's the plan today. And let's see if we can create a tree out of that. It's flexible enough. Get some nice big 6mm probably on there. I mean aluminium, that is. And let's bend it. Alright, let's see how we go. So I have put some heavy gauge wire on this branch, and on its sub branches I've put some wire on there as well. I was trying to think which way I'm going to twist and bend it. Now I think I ultimately decided going, so the trunk kind of goes that way, so it's going that way, so I want to kind of follow that direction, and that's what I was thinking. The trunk's moving that way, I want the branch to go back around the trunk in that direction. So my ultimate goal is, at the moment they're pretty much in line with each other there. I want to twist that all the way around the trunk and bring it out over there on that side. So I want to follow the contour of the trunk going that way. I didn't want to go against it here. I was just thinking don't want to create a non-realistic movement in the tree, that kind of thing. So if the trunk's going that way and then I'm going to go back this way, I don't know, I just felt, I don't think it'll work as well as flowing with the trunk. I can always change the angle. Anyway, I can always change the angle and stuff like that, so to make it look better. But I think I want to flow with the trunk, with the movement of the tree that way. So that's the ultimate way I'm going to do it. So let's try and get this bent over slightly. Alright, sorry everyone, something happened to the camera and stopped recording. So what I was discussing before the camera stopped was I couldn't bend this anymore further, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to try and guy wire it in. So I'm just set up the pot with a little bit of a tourniquet to hook that in and start to pull it slowly, trying to bring it right around. So showing you from the front again where it was, the tree's pretty much 90 degrees at the back there. Now I'm just trying to get it to work in. I think I want to sit it in here, somewhere around there, and then we'll see what happens there. Probably want to raise that eventually up a little bit as well, raise it up a bit. But there's so much branching in the way right now. We'll see what we can do when we get it out over this side. Okay. Making sure it's still recording. All right. So let's get this going. So I'm slowly pulling it. You can almost see it popping out the other side now. There's going to be a point where I just can't do it anymore today. So, and then I'll leave it. So it's almost where I want it. I just want it to almost, so it's here. I want it about there. So still no cracking, no breaking. So that's really good, really positive. Now I'm only just using, usually I use copper for this, but because this is just a temporary measure, I just use some thicker aluminium, and I'm just slowly pulling that through that tourniquet and bending it up. I'm not sure how much that's moved. It's looking good, very happy. There's a bit of splitting going on, but it's alright. Very important to check, so probably, where was it? In there, it's coming right around now. So let's keep going. Sometimes you can just let the tree rest for a bit and keep going, but I think this tree can go a little bit more. So yeah, slowly getting around, slowly. Let me think. So ultimately you can probably now see the new tree in there, so I need to get this around a bit more, and then you can see that would form a nice tree. Eventually maybe a bit of deadwood here, a bit of gin there, maybe shari down this side. I think it's going to look shari down this side, tree sits over this side. That's ultimately what the tree will look like, just those two. So it's coming along exactly how I envisioned in my mind. It's just a little bit slower because of these trying to bend that all the way around without breaking the trunk. Just looking, looks really good. There's a bit of a starting to split here, but that's okay. I think I'm just going to rest that for a bit. You can rest it for a few minutes even, and then try. Now I can try and twist just this top half and these top two trees. So even that's all coming around quite easily, quite nicely. It's almost in the spot I want it. So, wow, it's actually done better than I thought. So I'm not sure if you can totally see that. It's very hard to get the dimensions in there, and all these branches are in the way. But if I took all those away, you can see that is all the tree is. 1, 2. This will be the lower branch, and this will be the slightly upper branch. So it's coming along really well. I could probably, now that I've bent that, I can tighten this tourniquet a little bit more. See, so now it's been easily a bit more, to bring it in a bit more. Let's try and bring that in. It's really bending nicely. Okay. So slowly tweaking it. Yeah, it's looking nice now. All that heavy wiring, all that closeness enables me to do that, enables me to put those big bends in it. So pretty much got those branches almost where I wanted them in the first go. So you can see now I'm flowing with the, so remember I mentioned the trunk's going that way. I want it to flow with it, so it's going that way. I know this is a bit of a big bend, but I think I can disguise that maybe with foliage eventually. I do want to raise the tree up a little bit more. Let me see if I can tighten that. I think the height one is going to be the bigger issue. No, that's enough. I'm not going to do that anymore. Probably using aluminium. Anyway, maybe that's good to finish off this tree at that point. Maybe this is the part 1 of this tree. I'll come back into a part 2 where I've probably positioned this in the right spot and started the air layers off of these trees. I'm going to leave this guy here just for safety's sake, in case something happens with this branch. You never know. So this can always act as another, backup for the tree. But I want to finish off the video there, otherwise it gets way too long. So there's the first crack at putting a big huge bend in a tree in the first branch to create the actual full final tree. That's the design I want to go for. You can probably see now, if you have a lower branch in here and a bit slightly one a bit above it, little semi cascade, little compact, little nice tree, but with a big nice trunk. So that's the thinking there. So hope you guys enjoyed that. Stay tuned for more videos, subscribe and click the little bell icon so you can get notifications of new videos. See you next time.